Hi guys, and welcome to my Watchdogs Legion review. So yes, I'm back with a video game review, and yes, I am back with my review of Watchdogs Legion. Yes, the third game in the Watchdog series. It's a game, I was looking forward to by quite a lot. I'm a pretty big fan of the first two, well, the first Watchdogs. Obviously Watchdogs 1 came out in 2014, the whole Chicago, it was the first whole Chicago hacker vibe, you've got your phone, you're going off and hacking all these big companies, I thought it was really cool and inventive. I liked the story. And it was a mixed bag for a lot of people, but I personally quite liked Watch Dogs 1. Then Watch Dogs 2 came out in 2017, you're in LA, the whole hipster hacker vibe, fight back against the system, yeah, rebel, and all that, DedSec, and it was the first game you're playing as DedSec. So in Watch Dogs 1, you're a lone vigilante playing as Aiden, aren't you? I wasn't a massive fan of Watch Dogs 2, to be honest. I thought it was a bit too hipster hacker vibe for me, and I wasn't a big fan of the story either. I thought the story was very forgettable compared to Watch Dogs 1. But anyway, it's still a good game, and I'm still a fan of both games, although Watch Dogs 1 is still my favourite personally, yeah. And here we are, 3 years later, with Watch Dogs Legion, set in a futuristic version of London. And yeah, it's a game I was looking forward to, obviously, with the whole, the play as anyone vibe. You are DedSec, you can recruit and play as anyone on the street, and you build up DedSec and fight back and liberate London. Yeah, so is it any good? Yeah, let's get to it. So I'm going to start off with the pros and cons, obviously, of this game. So my pros. The hacking and stealth gameplay, which you know from Watch Dogs 1 and 2, is back, and it's fun as ever. I enjoyed it. You're using your phone to hack into locations. You've got your little gadgets. You can hack into cameras. So obviously, it is mainly what Watch Dogs mainly is. I think is a stealth action gameplay. A lot of the missions you have to approach quite stealthily. Sneaking around. Take takedowns. Try and be as stealthy as possible, because I think in an open combat the game isn't as strong. So the game definitely just pushes you towards stealth. So yeah, the hacking and stealth is as fun as ever, using the cameras. You got lots of little gadgets you can use, just like you could in Watch Dogs 2. So yeah, that's cool. I really like Bagley, like the artificial AI who helps you throughout the entire game. He's the guy who helps you out throughout the entire game. He's really with his cool British accent, because they want to imitate the London spirit, the Liverpool, the UK spirit. And I think Bagley's really cool as like your artificial AI in the game. He just helps you out throughout all the missions. He helps you out. He's really witty. He's really funny. I really like Bagley. I thought he was a cool addition to the game. It was just your little AI helping you out in your ear all the time. He was really cool. And let's talk about the main appeal of Watch Dogs Legion, the recruit and play as anyone mechanic, which is what this game's all about. Like, literally, that's why there's 6 people on the front cover of this game. Like, they're all looking different. Because in this game, what I think the really cool, unique aspect of it, that's what Ubisoft tried to go with, is that it's not like in Watch Dogs 1 and 2 where you're a sole protagonist. You're that protagonist for the entire game. No. In Watch Dogs Legion, there is no protagonist, no main character. Who you decide to play as is up to you. You have an entire squad where you reform DedSec as, but you can recruit anyone off the street and you can play as them. It's really cool. It's really different. I've got to hail Ubisoft for this, because it's something unique that we've never seen in the game before. You can play as anyone, literally. Anyone you see on the street, you scan. You do a recruitment mission where you help them out, and then boop, they join DedSec, and then you can play as them. And each person has their own unique set of skills. Like some have silencer pistols that you can recruit, like the skilled operatives, and there's just regular operatives. But the skilled operatives, like spies, hitmen, construction workers, Albion workers, like you can use them to all different effects. Like some have silencer pistols, some have like little cool spider robots, like with extra gimmicks, and some are better at hacking. It's really cool. So by the end of the game, you have a really cool, diverse group of people it's your own gang of DedSec, your own little hacker group, it is cool. So yeah, and you can play as any one of them throughout the game. You can free roam as any of them. You can approach any mission as any of them. They all have their own unique dialogue, your own unique speaking. It's really cool. I've got to give Ubisoft credit for it. It is really cool, and you really grow fond of your team the more you progress through the story. Trying to liberate London. I liked it. I really do like it. I also had permadeath set on, so that means if any of your operatives die during a mission or while they're free roaming, they're dead. They do not come back, because I know there's another option, like you can set where they just get sent to hospital or prison and they can come back. But no, if any of my operatives died, then that's it. They're dead, and you have to replace them or play as someone else. And yeah, I only lost 3 operatives throughout the game, but yeah, whenever they died, I felt gutted, man. I was like, no, because you get quite attached to a few of your operatives as you play them throughout the game. If one of them dies, they're dead. And then you just, if it's during a mission, you restart the mission as someone else. So I was doing a mission on Tower Bridge, and one of my operatives died, and I was gutted. I was like, no, because I really liked him. And then I restarted the mission as someone else, and then she's like, no, he died. And back me just went, yeah, it's your turn now, go ahead. So yeah, and then I redid the mission as someone else. I felt really sad, man, because permadeath really upped the stakes, because a lot of your operatives can't take a lot of punishments. That's why I implore you to do the stealth, because after a few punches or a few gunshots, they really hurt. It's not like they can't take a lot of punishments, so you've really got to be careful with a lot of your operatives, otherwise they can die. And if you've got permadeath set on, boom, they're dead and they don't come back. So when I lost a few of my operatives, I was like, no, I felt genuinely gutted. So permadeath did make the stakes feel more serious. And if you're playing the game, I recommend you have permadeath set on, because it makes it feel more realistic. So yeah. And when I say play as anyone, you can play as anyone. So in my team, by the end of the story, I had about 2 grannies. They have limited mobility. They say, yes, Bagley, and they approach missions really funnily. Like they have different takedowns. That's really cool. So I had 2 grannies. I had a few guys from London, like with London accents. But yeah, I tried to be as diverse as possible. Tried to have lots of different people in my team. But there were a few negatives towards the recruit and play as anyone system. So it is good, but I don't think it worked as well as Ubisoft wanted it to work. So I'll get onto more of that in the negatives. So the story, of course, is basically you liberating London, kind of similar to Watchdogs 2, but I think it's done more here. You're liberating London, just like you try to liberate LA as DedSec in Watchdogs 2, but this one's just like liberating London. So yes, at the beginning of the game, Watchdogs gets framed for all these series of bombing attacks by a rogue hacker group called 0 Day, and Watchdogs, DedSec is dead and buried. They're in the dirt, and London has been taken over by this massive private militia called Albion. They've literally taken over London. The people are oppressed. There's security cameras everywhere. It's like a proper dystopian future London. The people are oppressed. There's no stuff. There's surveillance. There's Albion soldiers on streets. Harassing people, and then you've got to rebuild DedSec from the ground up, like I said, and you recruit anyone, you rebuild DedSec and liberate London and take it back from Albion. But it's not just Albion you go up against in the game too. There's lots of other bad guys. Like there's Clan Kelly, there's Sirs, obviously 0 Day, the rogue hacker group, and there's a few other bad guys in there too. It's not just, and you've got to liberate London bit by bit. But it is interesting. It's a really good. I think it's a pretty interesting story, despite the fact there's no main protagonist. I thought the upgrade tree was really good. You can have your whole upgrade tree with different gadgets. You can upgrade weapons. You can equip different gadgets. You can obviously hack different drones. You can turn your people invisible after you take them down. Like I said, upgrade different gadgets. Spider bots are very, very useful. You will use your spider bot in a lot of missions. They're very handy if you want to approach a mission nice and stealthily without getting detected. Spider bots are crucial. You can hack drones, like I said. Yeah, I'm sure I've missed a few out, but I thought the tech tree was really cool, and you upgrade by collecting tech points, which are scattered throughout London. So the more tech points you unlock, the more tech points you acquire, the more upgrades you can acquire too, and more gadgets to equip for each of your agents. You can have different gadgets for each of your agents, so you can have like a honing in drone, a spider bot, mines. You can turn invisible, which is really cool. And there's a few others too. The gadgets are really cool. I did enjoy that, definitely. I think London was pretty cool. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this the first game where you can play in an open world modern version of London? I think it is. Because London doesn't get explored much in open world games nowadays, does it? I mean, I know we had Assassin's Creed Syndicate, but that was Victorian London. But I think this is modern day, futuristic London. There's drones everywhere. There's massive Albion propaganda all over London. There's drones flying on all the streets, all these different drones. The security cameras surveilling everyone. It is really cool. I did enjoy that. All the self-driving cars. So it's a futuristic London. It is cool to look at. I'll give them that. Yeah. So as you progress through the map, there are different boroughs which you can liberate. Very similar to Watchdogs. I mean, very similar to Assassin's Creed Syndicate. You know, you've got to liberate London from the Templars. Now you've got to liberate London from Albion. So that you can do different borough missions. And while I will go into the negatives in the borough, liberating the boroughs because it was far too easy, you do unlock really cool borough missions after you've freed them. And you can do this really cool mission in Big Ben, Battersea, the London Eye, and there's a few others, and they're really cool missions. I've got to say, you climb up. There's one where you're climbing up Big Ben in a spider bot. That was really, really cool. I enjoyed that. And at the end of it, you liberate the borough. There's fireworks and everything, and then you unlock a skilled operative. So each borough you unlock. I unlocked a spy, a construction worker. I enjoyed that. I thought the unlocking borough missions were really, really cool. Like I said, the story is interesting. Like I said, you're taking down all the main people, the villains of London, as they're called. So Albion, Clan Kelly, Zero Day, Sirs. You've got to beat them all as DebSec. You've got to hack them all and beat them all, basically. Beat them all. And some of them are really cool. Like the main villain, I think one of the main villains of the game is Nigel Cass, who owns Albion. He's an arsehole, man, but he was a pretty cool villain. The leader of Clan Kelly, she was a nasty bitch, let me tell you that. Sirs, Richard Malik, he was a little dick, man. There were some really cool villains. Of course, Zero Day, the main hacker group, they were nasty as well. So I thought that the main story was good. I enjoyed this story probably more than Watch Dogs 2 and parts of Watch Dogs 1. So I think it's a very solid game. In terms of the story is good. It's a good, solid story, and it's quite lengthy too. It's only about 15, 20 hours to beat the main story, and that's not including all the running around doing side missions. So I think once you've done everything in this game, it's about 30 to 40 hours to beat, which is a very good length for an open world game. So yeah, I think the playlist, because there's radio stations when you're driving around London, and the radio stations are really good. There's some really good songs. There's a rock station, there's a pop station, there's a classical music station. There's London grime and London rap, Stormzy and what's his name, and Shaq, Big Shaq, whatever he's called. And yeah, there's some really cool soundtracks that I think it's probably got one of the best songs. And when you're driving around London, there's some really cool songs. Even KSI has a song in this game, so that was cool. I'm looking forward to the online. Online's coming out in December, and that looks good. There's team death matches, the Spider-Bot arenas. People can hack into your game like they could in Watch Dogs 1. I'm looking forward to the DLC because I purchased the season pass. The DLC is looking good. Obviously, Aiden Pierce is returning from Watch Dogs 1. I'm looking forward to playing as Aiden again. And apparently he's got his own little story, but you can free roam as Aiden, and he can be a part of DedSec, so you can play through the main story as Aiden, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to playing as Aiden again from Watch Dogs 1. Wrench is going to be in the game too. It was part of a DLC, as part of the season pass. Wrench, of course, was in Watch Dogs 2. He wasn't a playable character, but he was part of your squad in Watch Dogs 2. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Wrench in your squad. So yeah, it's a shame Marcus isn't in the game. Marcus Holloway from Watch Dogs 2. I quite like Marcus, but yeah, he isn't in the game sadly. But you can wear his jacket if you have Uplay. So yeah, that's mainly my positives on Watch Dogs Legion. There's a lot to like in this game. A lot to like. Good solid story. The hacking and stealth gameplay is as fun as ever. The freeing the borough missions were really cool. With Big Ben, like I said. The interesting story. With Albion, all the different villains of London which you have DedSec, you've got to take down one by one. The good song playlist, obviously. Playing as the spider bots and the drones and the missions are really cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, man. But the game is far from perfect. It's got a few issues which pull the game down, sadly. So yeah, I'm going to get onto my negatives now. Yeah. Personally, I think the graphics are very underwhelming in this game. I mean, for a game which is at the end of next gen, Xbox One and PS4, the graphics are not good, man. In London, in some areas, looks pretty damn ugly, especially during the day. At night time, it looks fine, but during the day, London looked ugly, man. The textures are ugly. There's a lot of popping. It's fuzzy at times. It looked ugly. What happened here? Does it need to get patched or something? Because to me, the very ugly looking London, especially during the day. I mean, how is it possible that LA and Chicago from Watch Dogs 1 and 2 I think they look better. How is that possible? Watch Dogs 2 came out 3 years ago. Watch Dogs 1 came out 6 years ago. So how is that possible, man? How is that possible? It's like, London looked kind of ugly, man. I think it needs a bug. I think it needs a patch or something. Also, the character models. Some of the character models on your team when you recruit them, damn, it looks awful. Like when they're in a cutscene talking to someone else, like a recruitment mission. It looks like I'm playing an Xbox 360 game. I'm not joking. It looks like an Xbox 360 or a PS3 game. It looks dreadful. And when they're talking, they're just going. That's not good, man. It needs to get patched. The character models are ugly. London looks pretty bland. Like at night time, it does look okay. Like when you're driving around London at night time, it looks a lot better at night. But during the day, like I said, fuzzy textures, fuzzy buildings. London in Syndicate looked a lot better, and that game came out 5 years ago. So what happened here? Part of me thinks it's because they're saving the cool graphics. They've half-assed this version because it's coming out on Xbox Series X and PS5, which it's going to look a lot better on that, isn't it? So maybe you think maybe Ubisoft have half-assed it on PS4 and Xbox One because it's going to be out on Xbox Series X and PS5 in the coming weeks. And it's going to look a lot better for that. So yeah, that is disappointing if they've done that. But maybe they're going to release a patch. But yeah, personally, I think London looked kind of ugly, which is very disappointing. The liberating borough mission, liberating the boroughs, different parts of London which you liberate, it was far too easy, man. You can do it in you do 3 little short missions where you go somewhere, you hack this, boom, done. You go here, you free an operative, boom, done. You go here, you kill a big Albion VIP guy, boom, it's done. And then boom, so all of a sudden you unlock the unlock borough mission, after 3 short little things. And that was it. There were some boroughs which I unlocked, and I hardly explored the boroughs. Half the borough was still in black on the map. You can unlock the boroughs so easily. Liberate them, so to speak. And that was far too easy, man. It didn't feel like I earned it. At least with Assassin's Creed Syndicate, when you liberate the boroughs from the Templars, it felt, it felt like much more hard work. You felt like you earned it. When you liberated the borough in this game, it just felt far too easy, and I felt like I didn't earn it. You do it. It's so quick, and half the borough you still haven't even explored yet. But so yeah, that was a bit disappointing for me. The recruitment missions, where you recruit people to join DedSec, some of them are very, very bland or very usually annoying, man. They're such fetch quest missions. You've got to go to a part of the map to do this little tiny thing, download a file, kill someone, delete some footage, and you've got to go all the way down to the other part of the map, then speak to him, and then boom, okay, I'll join DedSec, bro. Yeah, let's go. But some of them are just annoying fetch quests, man. You have to go all the way across London to do this, and all the way across London to do this, you have to hack into a Clan Kelly or an Albion site, and all this just to get one person on your team. It wasn't worth it, man. So some of the recruitment missions were not great. Not a lot of side content either. For an open world game, apart from the recruitment missions, a few little side things here and there, and obviously the main story, there's not that much to do. There's not many side missions. There's not much side content. I think the main thing you can do, there's fight clubs which you can go to, but once you've done one, you never really go back to them. There's fight clubs. You can play darts in pubs, but I don't really care about darts. You can do wall paintings, you can graffiti DedSec propaganda on different parts of London, which was cool. There's a football mini game where you do kick-ups, and that's really it. For an open world game, that's kind of disappointing, man. So and a massive lack of building interiors too. There's hardly any building interiors apart from pubs and the main missions. That's really it. You can't go in any of the buildings. Yeah, so it kind of just feels a bit bland. And London itself felt a bit empty at times. London's meant to be one of the busiest cities in the world, and half the streets are empty. London is sparsely populated in this game. When you're walking down the street, there's not that many people. There's a few people walking past here and there, but it feels like you're in a town or a village. London's meant to be one of the busiest. It's the capital of England. It's meant to be one of the busiest cities in the world. And it feels very sparsely. It feels empty at times, an empty open world. And like I said, I feel like they've half-assed it because London's going to feel much better, much more beautiful, much more vibrant in the next gen Series X and PS5 version, which is disappointing. So yeah, London itself was empty. And one of my last negatives of the game, some of the voices for your crew, your DedSec crew, very hit and miss. Some of the voice acting in the game is not great. I'm going to say it right now. Some of it is not great. Like, it just feels very, very like they phoned it in. Like you're on a mission with some Londoners and they're like, yeah, bro, let's do this. Let's liberate London. Come on, dead sick. It's like, what? And then some of them would just feel half-assed, like, hello, mate. Yeah, all right, Begley, I'm going in there. It's like, what? And then, please don't think I'm being racist here. I'm not, but what was with the Jamaican accents? I must have hit, like, about 4 people on my team had Jamaican accents. Yeah, all right, Begley boy, let's do this, bruv. No, that's London. I can't really do a Jamaican accent, but I had about 4 people with Jamaican accents on my team, and it got really annoying at some points because, oh, what, Begley boy. I'm just going to embarrass myself. I can't do a Jamaican accent, but you get the point. There were so many people with Jamaican accents. Like, am I missing something? Has London got a big Jamaican population or something? Like 3 of my skilled operatives all had Jamaican accents. I had a spy, a hitman, and a construction worker. All 3 of them had the exact same Jamaican accent, literally the exact same voice. So I didn't like playing as them because they didn't do enough to differentiate the voices between all the different people you can play as. So you end up having some people on your team who sound the exact same. Like, I had about 3 people who had the exact same London accent. Two old people, they sounded the exact same. They didn't. So this is why it was a cool idea, but they didn't flesh it out enough because too many people sound the exact same. They needed to differentiate the voices more. So I ended up playing as like 4 or 5 of the same people on my team because all the others sounded the exact same. And then when I went to try and go and recruit new people, they had the exact same voice. Like, all right, bruv, how you doing? I'm all right, you know. So yeah, they didn't do enough to differentiate the voices, which was very frustrating to me. Very frustrating. Also, what is with the pricing in this game? The clothes are very expensive, man. Like, you unlock points doing missions and shit, but yeah, like, if you want to unlock clothes, it costs quite a bit. So at the end, I just kept most of my protagonists, most of my crew, in the exact same clothes because it's expensive, man. Like, if you want to unlock a cool outfit, it costs you about 6, 7, 8,000 points to unlock some cool clothes. I'm not paying that. So yeah, that wasn't great. And on to my main negative of the game, the crashes. Oh my god, the hard crashes. Ubisoft, man. This really dragged it down for me. The hard crashes in this game are unacceptable. The game hard crashed at least 10 times throughout my entire run through. Like, literally, I'm in the middle of a mission. It goes back to the Xbox dashboard. I'm driving around London. It goes back to the dashboard. And that happened over and over again. It's unacceptable at Ubisoft. It's unacceptable. Like, I did this a few days ago when I was playing the game, and I was getting so annoyed with the hard crashes. I even recorded that right after it hard crashed, and I got pretty annoyed. Watch this.
Right, so I'm playing the game. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the story, and the game has hard crashed about at least 10 times, and it's already crashed twice in the last 30 minutes. Ubisoft, sort this shit out, man. It's fucking unacceptable. I don't pay not 50 quid. I bought the gold edition with the season pass, so I didn't pay £75 for the game to crash every 30 fucking minutes. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. They released a patch, and it's just made things worse for Xbox players. How is that possible? Sort your shit out, Ubisoft. Jesus Christ, man.
So yeah, I got pretty annoyed, didn't I? I don't often get that annoyed, but it was really starting to piss me off how many hard crashes occurred in this game. Quite a few bugs too in some missions, like floating guns, a car that just wouldn't move, like quite a few bugs too. So yeah, that Ubisoft, man, obviously this game needed a few more weeks in development. And they released a patch, like I said, and it made things worse. The game at some points was unplayable. I barely got to the end of the game. At one point, I was like, I can't even finish this because it just keeps crashing and it keeps returning me to the dashboard. It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't pay. It's meant to be a AAA game, which I paid good money for, and it's not acceptable, Ubisoft. It's not acceptable. So yeah, that really pulled the game down for me. Those hard crashes. So yeah, like I said, that has been my main review of Watch Dogs Legion. Like I said, quite mixed in a way, quite mixed. A lot of positives, a lot of negatives. So my main positives, the hacking and stealth gameplay was fun as ever. Recruiting and playing as anyone was a really cool, unique idea. London, the future tech-heavy version of London was really cool. Like I said, an interesting story with lots of different cool aspects of, like, uploading yourself into the server, like, with Sky Larson and all that, or like Albion, about fascist states and all that. The game was very anti-fascist. There's a lot of podcasts in the game which talking about, like, how fascist London has become and all that, and how there's no such thing as private data anymore. CTOS and Bloom, they're taking over everything, and all that. Like I said, I'm looking forward to playing as Aiden and Wrench in the DLC and the online. The good soundtrack and the good playlist was cool, and some really cool missions with the spider bots and drones. But like I said, the underwhelming graphics, liberating boroughs was way too easy. The recruitment missions, quite a lot of them were just very not a lot of side content. London felt quite empty. Like I said, a lot of the voices didn't match the people, or a lot of the voices just felt weird. It just didn't quite work out as well as I thought it would for the recruiting players, anyone mechanic. And the game, obviously the game hard crashing numerous times, really pulled it down. So right now, I'm going to give Ubisoft, I'm going to give Watch Dogs Legion a 7 out of 10. That's generous, I feel, because I was tempted to give it a 6 with the hard crashes, I really was. But no, I feel like the fun factor, and like I said in the positives, does pull it up. I think if the game had better graphics, much more better graphics, more stuff to do in London, and they got rid of the hard crashes, this would probably be a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. So yeah, I probably do prefer Watch Dogs Legion to Watch Dogs 2. But for me personally, Watch Dogs 1 is still my favourite personally. Yeah, Watch Dogs 1. I love Watch Dogs 1. So that's why I'm looking forward to playing as Aiden in his expansion pack whenever that comes out. So yeah, that has been my review of Watch Dogs Legion. What do you guys think of it? What's your favourite Watch Dogs game? Comment below, let me know. Now, I may be doing another video game review, probably later on this month or maybe in December, because Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out tomorrow. Woo! Can't wait for that. Yes, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I've got a feeling it's going to take me a few weeks to beat it, because I've heard it's massive, just like Odyssey and Origins. So it's going to take me a while to beat Valhalla, but I definitely will do a review for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It probably won't be till December though, because I've got a feeling it's going to take me a long time to beat. So yeah. So thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you all very soon. Join DedSec. And fuck the hard crashes.